As the country recovers from years of economic strife and political instability. Now, the country held elections nearly 7 months after former President Robert Mugabe was forced to resign following a military coup late last year. The elections, marred by violent post-election protests, were also disputed by the opposition Movement for Democratic Alliance, accusing the ruling Zanu-PF of rigging the votes. Drawing on interviews with President Emmerson Mnangagwa, his family, allies and opponents and key political figures, international journalist and author Ray Ndlovu tells these stories in a book, In the Jaws of the Crocodile. He joins us in the studio to give us more insights into the momentous events that changed the fate of a nation. Ray, very good evening to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Let's first start with the latest. I see that on Twitter, Nelson Chamisa, the MDC opposition leader, was calling for national dialogue, saying that there needs to be a dialogue on the legitimacy of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Do you think your book empowers us to be able to do that, make a decision on his legitimacy?
I think the book definitely does have a look, in fact, as to where he's come from, the journey that he's taken over the last couple of years, not only in the immediate 1 year when he rose to power and we saw the removal of Robert Mugabe. I think the book itself does give some insights and perspective into his mind and what he thinks, and the people that know him basically very well offer some views around him as to his persona and who the man is. And so I think it will give us some sort of views going forward, because he's declared the winner of the elections that took place a couple of months ago.
But the book is also about the rise of Emmerson Mnangagwa and the fall of President Robert Mugabe. And I'm curious what your thoughts are, especially when President Mugabe attacked Emmerson Mnangagwa ahead of the elections. And there's since been an about turn. Is this indicative of the kind of relationship between the two?
I think it's largely shows and is a sign of the fact that politics in Zimbabwe is very volatile. It moves. It's always constantly on the move. At one point, like you're pointing out, we thought this is the end of their relationship, but all of a sudden there was an about turn in terms of the two men now almost seemingly smoking the peace pipe. But again, for me, it definitely shows the fact that there is so much volatility when it comes to Zimbabwean politics. Nothing is the same.
You talk about the name Crocodile and where it comes from. What is it that Zimbabweans or the rest of the world don't know about him?
He is a man who's very patient. He has the long game in view. He takes his time. So I think we've seen that definitely playing out along as far as in the past 2 weeks, where there's been concern around the way that the economy is performing. And he's come out to say, just wait, give me time to sort this out. So I think he's a man who's taking his time and is looking at the long game.
When are you launching the book?
The book is being launched next week on Thursday, exclusive books in Hyde Park on the 18th of October.
Ray, thank you so much for joining us. Ray Ndlovu, the author of the book In the Jaws of the Crocodile, where angels fear to tread, as some would say. So we'll come back on more issues around Zimbabwe, but we have come to the end of